Good morning, everyone. I am pulling my onions. You might remember that I had these little garden totes on the side of the greenhouse, and it was getting a lot of sun, so I put it under this area. I brought this table around that we've always used in the past for drying the onions. So I started pulling the onions from those temporary totes and setting them up here about a couple days ago. I want to say a week. And we have been letting these dry. Now, the majority of my onions are not in these little garden totes. I don't know if you call them a tote or a little Tupperware, but they have wheels, and I got them at Home Depot, and I really like them. You might recall when we did our walkthrough of our garden that this volunteer pumpkin is in there. I'm kind of letting that do its thing, but I'm not worried about it. I wanted the onions to dry out underneath so they weren't sopping wet, so those are all dried out now. But the majority of our onions are up in our bed, and all of them are flopped over. Let me show you what that looks like. So when an onion is growing, it's upright, and when it falls and flops at the neck, it's actually done growing. So it's not going to send any more energy into the bulb. So you can pull that, put it on a drying rack, and allow it to dry out. Now the best thing to do is put it not in direct sun, and that's where this is under our patio. I've got kind of plants up here, and this won't stay here forever. This is definitely an eyesore on the patio, but it allows us to dry out the onions. And during harvest season for onions and tomatoes and things like that, you want to find a place that's cool, well ventilated, and allows you to store these. But let's go take a look at the beds up by the back of the garage where all of the majority of the onions are. On our way up to the onions, I just wanted to show you these. These were dahlias I planted from seed, and I just love how pretty they turned out. You can deadhead these, the ones that are done. So I've got those like peachy apricot-y colored, the yellows, these pink ones. These are some more pink ones, and these yellows. And then there's this red one. See if I can reach it. I've kind of just placed these a little bit all over. These came from a seed packet online on Amazon, actually. All right, let's see if we can see any more dahlias. No, I don't see. Oh, there's one coming up right there, so we'll see that. All right, on your way, let's take a look. Do you see how these have flopped over? This one, you could leave it because that one's still going strong. But I want to clear out this bed. Look, that one's flopped over. Now, this just got watered. So what I probably will want to do is wait till this afternoon to come in and pull them. But do you see how they're all laying down? They're not going to grow anymore. A couple of things you can do. This one's gone to seed. So it likely is not spending energy on the bulb either, so that would be pulled. Let's just try to pull them out and see how much soil we get because it got so wet. The ones underneath the patio were the ones that I let dry out. Oh, not too bad. Okay, and we'll set them over in the grass real quick while we get them all. And then this bed used to have mint, so while I've been growing these onions, the mint has been trying to come back up again. So we need to come out here this afternoon and weed the bed and get all the mint out. Okay, so that's 5 onions so far, 6. Look how big this one is. Yeah, this grass is out of control. Somehow some grass seed had gotten into my bed. Look, and that's grass. Now you can leave any of the onions up, like I said, that are still standing upright. Like this one's probably doing okay and really hasn't matured fully, so I'm gonna go ahead and try to leave that one. Holy moly, look how big this one is. this was the first bed we put our onions that we grew from seed. So all these onions were grown from seed. And this was the first bed we put them in. So I feel like these got to be the biggest. This one's kind of standing upright, but I'm gonna take it. This is all grass that has seeded that was never in this bed when we started these onions. And this is mint. And you cannot let mint grow in your beds, because this is what will happen. Is that no matter how hard you try, they come back. Like, I've completely eradicated the mint every single year. And every year, if you're not out here pulling, they come right back. And I dispersed some of the onions in the pea trellis, so I've got to pull those out real quick. Let's get those out of there. This bed is ready for fall crops, so if you're pulling your onions, this is a good time to start thinking about what you want to plant. Oh, I gotta get in here. What you want to plant for your fall crops. Okay, I think that's everything over there. Let's try to get some more mint. And I'm gonna set the mint just right down here, because I'm gonna take that to the chickens. Here is an onion. And I'm gonna go ahead and pull this lettuce. This lettuce I planted early on in the season, and it has given us a lot of lettuce, but also has now bolted. So this was the butterhead. So this would be a good time to replant this so that it can enjoy the cool weather. So we'll take the lettuce down to the chickens. Once you get a crop like lettuce that's gone to bolting being it's no longer producing the lettuce leaves and it's really trying to throw off seed, it's a good time to just pull that. So what I've been doing is, see all these little guys, little onions? What I've been doing is just grabbing a little bit of lettuce every day and taking it down to the chickens. But today they're gonna get a lot. Oh, just pulled an onion top, so there's a little guy. Here's two little ones. And then this one's, oop, dang it, tucked in over there. Ooh, okay, so that's all the onions. Now nearly, I wanna say that's gotta be, oh, this is lavender coming up. That has to be about 40 or 50 onions. And I'm gonna take this one, like I said, because it was going to seed. Get the last of the lettuce. Okay, last onion. This one is where it's gone to seed. Go ahead and take those because they're not going to spend any more time. I'm going to leave the lettuce tag there so that I can add that lettuce back. And then when I have actual gloves on, I'm going to come out here and deal with the soil a little longer. So this is what we've got, these onions here and all of these onions. So let's take those over to our drying rack. The ones that got their little tops pulled off, I just put on the edge so I know where to find them. And then what I'm going to do is, since these are all pretty dry, let's go ahead and move them over here so we don't reintroduce moisture to the ones that are fairly dried out. And the ones that were in the temporary totes, the little garden totes, were actually smaller than the ones in the big garden bed. And part of that was, like I said, these got planted after those. That garden bed that we were just in were our first planted bulbs. And you can just layer these as you see I'm doing. You can layer them on top of each other and they will still dry out. You just want to have a little bit of spacing. And the good news is that just really cooled off for August for us. Whew. And so there's a lot of airflow through this area. All right, hold on. Let's do this. Start them over here. You start layering. And the dirt will fall off. So you don't have to worry about that. As you can see, a lot of the dirt fell off. Now when these are completely dried down, we will come and cut the root ends off, brush off any excess dirt, and then cut the tops off. Let me go grab the rest. Onions, if you're a beginning gardener, are one of the easiest crops to sow. You sow them by seed. You can sow them in bundles, meaning you could have one pot and you put all your seeds in there and they'll come up, and then they will let you separate them, put them into a garden bed, and then you just pull them and dry them. If you're looking for a beginning gardener crop or an easy crop or something that you use a lot, people use a lot of onions in their cooking. Onions, garlics, and tomatoes are such easy crops to grow. I would encourage you to try those out. And they yield a lot. I'm going to set these down here to get the bigger ones up. And if you're wondering, how long will this last me? This will probably not last me a year by any means. It depends. Last year we stored these in our kitchen and they started to go bad sooner than if we had a cool, dry place, ideally like a basement to put them in. They would keep them cool like a refrigerator would for longer. So what I'm gonna try this year is to cure them and then put them in our outdoor refrigerator and see if they'll last longer for us. That's all the onions I have to harvest right now. It is a super windy day, so these will dry out pretty quickly. And let's just count. $78 onions, and some of them are smaller. The smaller ones I'll use first, and you could chop these up and freeze them too, in addition to just drying them, curing them, and putting them in a fridge or a cold place. We have more onions. There's a couple under here, and there's a couple down at the garden that is by the shop. And I'm gonna wait to pull those. We're gonna let these lay out because this is how much we have room for, and these were the ones that were majorly flopped over. So from here, what you can do is wait 2 weeks, cut off the roots, cut off the tops, and put them in an outdoor fridge or cool place or a dark, cold area of your basement. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that you grow onions, and we'll see you next time.